मिशिया इज लाइक इन्वॉल्विंग देम, और वहाँ पे एक थोड़ा सा स्पेस क्रिएट कर देते हैं कि आप वीक में 1 घंटा आप इस चीज़ के लिए जा सकते हो.
Okay,
You
that's a
can
good point. Yeah.
you can definitely go for that. It was a hell breakdown when I've personally have faced it, and lot of people I know have faced it.
Welcome to yet another beautiful episode of The Serial Designer. Today we have on board with us architect Huzefa Kachwala. He has a soft corner for Indian history, traditions, and art. He is here to share insights on how professional practice taught in interior design colleges is different from the mainstream interior practice. Welcoming him, thank you. Welcome. Today we have Huzefa Kachwala here. He's here to give us insights on design, design theory, design professional practice, and a basic curriculum what a student learns when he's in a design college. So I'll start by talking about myself first. So I consider myself as a design problem solver. So I'm into this, I have my problem boots on,
Right.
and I'm a radar. I search for problems and I find
Right.
a solution. So even when I'm with my clients, I always have this this drive that I'm going to find the problem for you and I'll solve it for you
Correct.
and give them the best optimized solution. So this kind of a clarity of thought, this kind of a depth, would you think that would be there in a design college or in their career?
Um, Thank you, Devanshi, firstly for having me over, and most importantly, yes, I mean the question in itself has a lot of layers. So, firstly, yes, a lot of these colleges at this point of time are focusing on that, and it's been a good 25 to 30 years of practice in certain colleges that they've been practicing this.
Mm.
The problem solving or the issues which are there, the solutions we create for in our certain briefs in our projects, and then we give it to the students. When we give it to the students, we have this set of questions, or we know that they are going to ask us. So that's when we are actually invoking or probably inducing that problem solving.
Okay.
वो start तो हो जाता है, अभी भी है in a lot of colleges. But with that, there are certain other things also that we start feeding in subconsciously, and we do not know that we are doing that. And it's a genuine effort of a faculty wanting to help his student,
Okay.
his or her student.
Correct.
So at this point, and that is basically inducing a little bit of design ego
Okay. Along with design ego.
along with
Yes.
that. So problem solving तो आप सिखा रहे हो, आप you're teaching the student that he's supposed to solve this, but उसके साथ बहुत ज़्यादा effortlessly, and you have to basically think also that you are, sorry, effortlessly is a wrong word, but you have to also think also that you are consciously you're putting this, okay, in a little bit of proportion. It's nice, but when you feed it more, what happens is that when the student has come out of the college, he or she thinks that everything मुझे आता है,
Correct.
मुझे सब आता है, मुझे सब problem solve करना आता है. But there are certain problems which when we say that, we have to also listen to the client who's outside sitting over there with his common sense. वो बैठा है, वो सुन रहा है, वो आपको बताना चाहता है. He wants to first take out everything and tell you that this is what I'm facing in life, these are the issues, you give me something as a lifestyle in terms of the design which you're giving me, and I want this for my life. So we need to start adapting that, we need to start absorbing that, and then I think that somewhere we'll come close to giving them a solution, which we do, and that is what we need to teach our current kids and in the academia as well.
Oh, that's actually a very interesting point that you've raised now that you're talking about design, a little bit of design ego, which comes while you're in your curriculum as well as you go outside. So what about taking constructive criticism, feedback? I mean, when छोटे से छोटी प्रोडक्ट्स में भी आजकल लेबल्स में भी लिखा है कि if you have any feedback, call us on this.
Right.
Or Zomato reviews, like we read reviews and we go to a restaurant or we order food.
Right.
So how good are we at taking criticism in general?
So you want to hear the honest thing?
The
See,
basic honest thing.
The basic honest thing is that when, as a designer, somebody tells us that, we've given all our heart and soul कि हम ये बनाने वाले हैं, and we made it. We made the design, we made the render, we basically shown the design to the client, and he's like, listen, you know what? Just change that blue into pink. Can you? And that time the world crashes down. The world just crashes down.
We've
आपका
been
पूरा
through that. Yeah.
and you're fuming with ideas. Your the steam is blowing off your ears and your nostrils, and you're looking at that person like, yeah, why not? So we can take constructive criticism, but how do we want to implement it is a different aspect altogether.
Correct.
So yes, coming down to seriously, I mean, yes, we do take constructive criticism, but as a designer, there's always a part where you are like, let's just like, okay, fine, whatever you're saying is fine, but listen to what I'm doing and listen to what I want to tell you in terms of like whatever design I've created for you, and that is very important.
But this constructive criticism, we also imbibe in these students through juries.
Right.
We talk about, we invite other faculty to come and review their work.
Right.
So at this point, though we are feeding them with ego in those briefs, in those problem solving briefs, but you're also giving them that atmosphere wherein they are reviewed, they are, we ask them to change certain things. But I think I've seen, like when I've also gone to juries to take juries, I've seen students are not very good at taking that either. Like they're like, हाँ हाँ कुछ भी बोलते हैं.
In their head.
In their head. अपने को सामने शायद ना बोले. But then do you think they will later change their design, or do you think that's ever going to be possible that आपने किसी senior का सुन के आपका design change किया हो, या something like that?
Yeah, if you ask me, and the first part of the question which I want to answer is that yes, definitely when a student comes in a jury और वो अपना jury दे रहा है, jury देने के time पे तो वो आपकी बात सुनेगा क्योंकि आप juror हो.
Correct.
ठीक है. And it's a third person's perspective. That's why the juries happen. It's very important that external juries do happen in colleges. उससे क्या होता है कि when the mentor is teaching you, okay, they are giving their heart and soul in terms of teaching you. The student is giving their heart and soul in terms of learning and imbibing whatever they are doing. So they both get into a nutshell of design on one-on-one basis. There is a personal touch that both of them are trying to give to the project, and that's when they realize that it becomes both of their babies.
Correct.
So now the third person comes in like वो तीसरे एंगल से दिखता है, and he'll be like, okay, fine, whatever you did was fine, whatever your mentor taught you, but this is, I think, these are the loopholes where you're missing out. ये सारी चीज़ें हैं. And coming back to the question, like if you targeted towards me or any of the designers, that yes, we will take constructive criticism also, and we will वो जो चीज़ें हैं जो आपको कोई दूसरा थर्ड पर्सन से समझाता है वो समझ में तो आती है हमको.
Correct.
We as a student also we take it, and we have to somewhere when we go back, when the project is over, the things are done. That's when happens in the reality also. When the project is done, it's done. You can never have 100% correct design. There's always going to be some flaw in it.
Yeah.
Yes, all you need to consciously know is इसमें थोड़ा सा इतना problem है. That's the honesty you should have to
that
towards your
acceptance
design.
is required.
Accepting that this is there. That's
This
it.
is there. ये तो flaw है. Correct. Mentorship again. So how important are your mentors for you? Like, because we always look up to certain people, certain mentors. So do you think a mentor changes your path of learning in a design college? I mean, do you get influenced by your mentor?
Your mentor is your celebrity in college.
Okay.
Your
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
I mean, आप देखते हो उसको कि यार ऐसा बनना है.
Correct.
Like or when he talks or he or she talks, you feel like this is the way I want to orate. This is the way I want to talk, or learn things and his entire design aspect. So somewhere when you आपने जब अपना design बना के दिखाया है और आप उस mentor को देख रहे हो, full 1 week of work, or probably I can say 1 night of work that you worked on in my college days, especially that 1 night of rigorous work, and I felt that I've worked a lot.
Correct.
And in the morning when you go and you put the sheet in front of him, and with his very cool pencil, at the same time he's looking at everything, and he is showing you that these are the loopholes that you've created. आपने यहाँ problems है. and the entire night you didn't realize that you had made those mistakes. But when he circles those things out and he tells you in a way that there are two aspects to this. First is that अगर उसने आपको ऐसे समझाया है जो आपको लग जाती है बात के, so you will find that very mentor the celebrity as a villain as well कि अरे यार ऐसे बात किया. But if he explains to you in a very nicer manner also, so it has to be a combination of both, I feel.
So being an academic yourself, I mean, you teach at various colleges.
Right.
So so this is kind of an advice you are going to give your fellow architects or interior
or
designers
colleagues,
who are
yeah.
teaching.
Right.
So this is like some kind of an advice that it's a good cop, bad cop. तो आप एक ही बंदे को खाली good or bad, so how does this work?
See, I have realized one thing that our generation, or I mean, not that we are fossils or anything, but
No, but we are not Gen Z. We aren't. We're millennials, and okay, there's a
Correct.
lot of difference between Gen Z and millennial. Both of them, like even in a design college, it's different how we were treated.
yeah,
And again, you said we're not fossils, but it was like 8-9 years back. But we were quite different students back then, and we had mentors also who were quite different.
right.
Now I don't see that happening. Like, I don't know. I think they're celebrities in themselves.
See, you can't blame them for that because now at that time when we were there, the digital media was still, the social
Yeah.
media was still
Yeah.
developing. I remember the times when I had a Nokia phone, and then after which we developed towards Samsung, and then we had Blackberries and stuff. There was just WhatsApp which had just come.
Correct.
We were trying to chat and photos and Instagram had just come.
Okay.
But now these guys are right now, the Gen Zs are making full maximum potential of that site, and they are trying to like make money out of it. We never
Okay.
thought in that manner.
We never did.
Again, in a good way that we didn't have that much pressure at that point of time to basically make money as soon as right now the peer pressure of their aged kids in other fields are making is basically adding on to them. So if they have that elevated self-esteem, वो ठीक है, वो चलेगा, बट उसको राइट डायरेक्शन में डालना जरूरी है.
That's the job of our,
Yeah,
as mentors, that's
as
our
mentors.
job.
And millennials, when we speak about it, our college days were very different. We had people who had ground rules to teach us. So it was like an old school method of teaching.
Correct.
You do something, it's nice. Otherwise, if your technical sheets are not correct, then they're going to tear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a major reason for that. Because not only हम खाली वो डिज़ाइन नहीं बना रहे, हम किसी के लिए एक it's basically also going to be a life saving factor for that person. Okay, आपके डिज़ाइन में कुछ flaws हो गए तो an architect is to be blamed for whatever is wrong in that. So we have to take that personal responsibility. वो गोल लेना चाहिए कि हाँ नहीं, इसमें ये सही चीज़ होनी चाहिए, इसमें ये करेक्ट होना चाहिए, नहीं तो ये नहीं होगा. Ethics. And at the same time, technically it has to be a strong project. Okay. So that is one. Variously, I've seen that right now students have I can't say that somewhere down the line उनको वो चीज़ hurt कर जाती है.
Very
And
sensitive.
They're very sensitive. But I've seen that sensitivity is also because of it's built over the period of time. There are a lot of aspects to it. So many students are facing anxiety day in day night. Depression, anxiety, ये सारे aspects होते हैं. They are basically the thing of getting out and doing something. The peer pressure is that person is already doing. He's on social media right now. What are you doing? तू क्या कर रहा है?
We've seen so many, on YouTube also we've seen these stars. 19 years, he's built a 50 crore company, 20 crore company, 20 years,
Correct.
19 years. And what were we doing back then? I mean, you're
think
right. There is a pressure on Gen Z as well.
Right.
But then again, see, we are in the same field. Ultimately, Gen Z and millennials are in the same design industry.
Right.
So, being a client, how do you go about that? Like, I mean, there are two different mindsets. So, if I'm a client, if I want a certain space to be designed, so how then they can probably
how can you basically
how can I basically choose that should I go with this mindset
Zs
or should I go with the other mindset?
So see, if you say like that, there are obviously there in our field also there are legends who are working at this point of time in the age of 60s and 65. We've already had so many people. They're running successful companies, and we've been a part of that. Or hub nikal ke right now we are doing our job. So they are still there. So it's not that anybody is like, if they are going to come up, they are going to come up with a new design. It's a mind which is going to create creative projects or creative designs. वो creativity आपके दिमाग में से निकलने वाला है. That mind is never going to go old.
Okay.
That's always, if you are creative, then you're going to be creative, and you just need to keep on polishing it, doing it. What we need to see and accommodate, I feel that if you're in a college, आप काम कर रहे हो, and as a faculty also you're working, your students are intrigued by what kind of projects are you doing, because
Okay.
internally also they have a discussion that इसने कुछ काम किया है क्या.
इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट उसका कैसा है, मेंटर का इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट कैसा है,
इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट कितना है. एंड इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट एक पैर होना भी चाहिए, बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर इन द इंडस्ट्री, it doesn't matter that you're doing celebrity projects or you're doing basic projects, you're working. That's what the idea is. If you're working in the industry, your one leg should be there and one leg should be in academics. There are a lot of people who worked their lives and then they are teaching right now. There is absolutely no offense to them. Okay, but then people like us come into the picture, that who are constantly traveling,
yes,
who are there in these colleges, and it's only because of the people who've been there in the industry. जो academics की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, academics में core faculties who've been there, who know that these guys are there outside, so we can get it, and they are also into the industry. So it works hand in hand, both together. I feel both of it, now I'm lost. I feel both of it has to go hand in hand, and आप दोनों के साथ काम करोगे तो साथ में लेके, मतलब in terms of you'll get a good product also by the student who's creating something.
So that's again an interesting point. So when you said that design colleges में there should be equal balance of a visiting faculty. Visiting faculty is basically people like us who are working as well as who are teaching. Legends who have worked their life off and now they are relying on academics. And there is the third category wherein they are just teaching, core faculty, but they started off only with teaching and they haven't had any industry experience as such. I know such faculties who have not had that kind of industry experience. So within this three, so is there always a constant do students also differentiate between them? Is there a struggle here? See, because older mindsets, they have these certain ground rules, as you said, कि they have certain rules. They are, मतलब या तो तुम black हो या तो तुम white हो.
Right.
We are people who are a little grey, on the grayer side, कि हमारे लिए कुछ गलत नहीं है. Design is not, मतलब हम कोई शीट को फाड़ेंगे नहीं. Again, problem solvers. इसमें ही कुछ change कर देंगे, sort of. And core faculty who don't have that knowledge. And they've again gone in this constant battle of, marks, rules, because everyday rules are changing. Education policy is changing, ever increasing, changing.
Yeah.
So how does that fit? Now, what does the student have to understand out of it?
The three legends, people who've been there, I wouldn't say that they are relying on academics, but we need them.
Yeah, we need them.
We need them because the old school methods of working can induce certain calmness and peace into design as well. Because sometimes the problem solving also comes from that. The second thing is the core faculties who've been there. You need a person who's constantly there to see and supervise students.
Monitor, basically.
We have connects in different colleges. These guys are there. But the problem with them is that, once you're there, it also creates a territory for them. And that's when, you're not very welcoming to all the people who've been going to come over there, or, it's not, and I'm not stereotyping everyone. Some of them really, I mean, you'll have to manage your way as a visiting faculty. Correct. And you'll have to go around कि ठीक है ये भी ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. So those aspects are clear. The student, what he needs to get is both, I mean, sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour. I think
वो दोनों खट्टा मीठा थोड़ा होगा तभी तो अच्छी डिजाइन बनेगी, तभी तो थोड़ा मजा आएगा इस लाइफ में.
Nice. That's a good call. We also spoke of design ethics. I'm very interested in talking about ethics. So every professional career has its own ethics, but we have a different twist of ethics where we are not supposed to advertise. We can't market. Okay, we do
Yeah.
market ourselves via websites, but we never
Yeah, we cannot have a
advertise.
label
Like we
outside.
cannot have a label or a pamphlet outside that hey, we do this, we do that, or we are selling this at this price. So हमारा तो इंटेलेक्ट है जो हम बेच रहे हैं. What about that? What about ethics then? How do we? So I mean, of course, curriculum में तो पढ़ा ही है हमने in professional practice as a subject.
Correct.
But then are we like, are students actually reading it or just for the sake of it?
No, I think they are just reading it or mugging it up for the sake of exam.
Exams, yes.
If you talk about professional practice, I think it's a more practical approach rather than that. Yes, there are certain norms that we need to know. Everybody, I mean, every profession for that matter of fact, they have a guidance and they have that entire norms and rules and regulations are written. But you don't need to mug it up. Students at this point of time are doing that. वो खाली, if the professional practice has to be strong among students, it will only come when the student is practically has a connect. That is via the faculty or an industry connect who comes outside. It could be any professional from outside and showing them practical approach
Okay.
or taking them to site. Probably, if it's possible, I mean, he can also be a part of a client meeting.
If the student be a part of the client meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
How? Probably be an intern to the faculties or all of these programs where the academia is like involving them और वहाँ पे एक थोड़ा सा space create कर देते हैं कि आप week में 1 घंटा आप इस चीज़ के लिए जा सकते हो.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
You can definitely go for that. It was a hell breakdown when I've personally faced it, and a lot of people I know have faced it, and students as well whom I speak to day in day night who've passed out, and they tell me this that when they pass out, when I passed out, it's like basically जितना भी पढ़ा है वो कुछ काम नहीं आ रहा है.
That's scary.
That's
But
scary.
yeah, I think we've all been through that.
So what have we learned? We learned how to design. We've learned how to
Correct.
plan. We've learned how to make it on technical चीज़ें उसको बनाना हमने start
Also, we
किया.
did internship. All of these courses do have internship also. But internship, so that's when they realize, or after internship that
No,
they realize?
internship is when they've gone over there and they are heated first, and then after that they've taken a hammer and उसको मार देते. तो वो मतलब गरम भी करते हैं उनको, फिर बराबर से ठुकाई भी होती है. बट वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि why are we not doing that in our very college itself?
Okay. Why wait for the internship
हाँ.
to give that high blow?
Yeah, to give them a reality check that what have we learned, and your boss will only come to you like what have we learned. So that is very important. That so in one of the colleges when I was teaching a certain subject, and it was a technical subject that we were teaching, we realized that in a residential project uska pura working drawing banana hai.
Okay.
The student basically worked on it, and because one leg was in the industry and we were working on certain drawings related to RCC, that I could impart that to the student, and various other faculties also doing that. I think at that point of time I was very happy that from the load bearing construction जो हम पहले सीखते थे जो अभी उतना काम नहीं आता है, and we are going towards RCC. The COA or however the norms were changed and architecture में RCC का involvement हो गया. उससे student को reality check मिल रहा है कि हाँ these are the buildings we are creating, this is the RCC drawings that we have to make, and that is a very important step that in the academics has been taken. I'm very happy with that. उससे तो बहुत ज़्यादा important है, but again the people who are going to teach them also should have complete RCC knowledge also, and they should have an understanding of how to basically sometimes when you're sketching, you think that the student knows. It's not necessary that he's understanding. He's just nodding his head, and how many times is he going to say no to you?
Correct.
Some are stubborn. Some don't have that confidence only कि हाँ ठीक है सर समझ
हाँ जब
गया.
तक सीखूंगा नहीं तब तक I will keep asking. Correct.
And so and we are not given a B.Ed degree for it. We
don't have a B.Ed degree. None of us do have the education degree. Because our leg one is in our career and one is working on.
So nobody taught us how to teach. Correct. So we have just learned how to explain. बिकॉज वी
Okay.
एक्सप्लेन टू आवर क्लाइंट्स, हम वैसे करते हैं, तो हमने स्टूडेंट को भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया, उस बच्चे को भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया कि ये सारी चीज़ें आपको करनी है.
Hmm.
बट आई फील दैट प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच, सर्टन फोटोज, लिसन, यू नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, वेट, scroll down in your phone,
Immediately you have
show,
something to
see,
show
can you
it to
see this
them.
detail over here in the phone? ये अच्छा
Hmm.
लगा, ये चीज़ है, this is the knot which we are talking about.
Parametrics, there's this wave of understanding the softwares of parametrics. There's always a curiosity in the students कि मैडम parametrics होता क्या है, and most of them don't even know. तो are there any newer ऐसे मिलते जुलते दूसरे टेक्नोलॉजीज है?
See, parametric design in itself is a design where from different mediums can you see a 3D form. Now, usually what we see is a cube or a square, but when you add a pyramid to another pyramid, it basically becomes a tetrahedron.
Okay.
So these are different shapes or polygons that we are talking about. अब ये जो डिज़ाइन स्टाइल है ये नॉर्मली 2D से भी आ सकता है, और उसको कन्वर्ट करने के लिए यू नीड 3D टूल्स फॉर इट. सो देर आर डिफरेंट सॉफ्टवेयर्स विच आर बीइंग यूज्ड. In architecture and interiors, earlier we were used to using AutoCAD, Google SketchUp, and there were other softwares to basically render it. Now these softwares are also there. You can do the same thing, but it's just the design style that you need to learn how to do it. There are a lot of people I know personally, and some of my very good friends who've been working in this field, and they've basically worked. They've studied it abroad, and they've learned the tools and the skill set to basically provide, and also start working 3D printing, which is the next thing, which is
Okay.
it's already there, but on a very lower scale. When we talk about lower scale and higher scale, somewhere we are talking about that someone can print a 3D. I can get this entire piece of furniture 3D printed. That's fine.
Okay.
But if I need a bigger 3D, I want to 3D print this entire room. So is that possible? Do I need, because that approach is basically the cost of the machinery, the cost of learning it. That is something that we in Indian schools need to start focusing on. We don't have that technological approach only to basically teach our kids in that manner. Yes, we can teach them the skill set, we can teach them the softwares, but are we teaching? Are they going to practically in the industry use it in India? So there were people who faced that problem, and because of which it's coming, it's there, it's going to be there, it's going to be the near future, but it's going to take some time for us to basically get that machinery. It's like Xerox machine. I'm sorry, photocopy. Xerox is the brand, but no, you have a photocopying machine. But that came after which, series of photocopying machines and printing machines came.
Correct.
So then it became a little cheaper for us to utilize it also and to use it. So the same thing is here. I mean, if you want a 3D printer on a larger scale, then there has to be institutes who can afford that kind of a machinery. That's when I will also see that oh, there's a course in parametric design which is also a practical approach in 3D printing which I can do. So I can learn it from here and then approach abroad, rather than learning it outside and then coming here. Both the things.
That will not work out. Like, I mean, like you said, your friends are studying abroad, but when they come here, they don't have the means, they don't have transport, they don't know where to start with, or they don't know people who will be willing to pay for this kind of an experiment. Like we in curriculum we do all these experimental studios, skis, but I mean, what about the practical approach of it?
It's a very valid point, Devanshi, that there are at the end of the day हम ये सब कर रहे हैं, but is the client ready to pay for it?
He's not going to. Ultimately, it's budget. I mean, who's going to pay for something? जो मैं यही room अगर मैंने A figure में बनवाया, why would I pay a 3D printer guy the newer machinery to pay at a much bigger A square price? So that's
this point which is there. I mean, it's as relevant to saying that you want to use sustainable design in India.
Yes.
With a lesser carbon footprint, but आप क्या sustainability approach ले रहे हो?
Correct.
क्योंकि सीमेंट तो उधर ही है, कार्बन तो वहाँ पे ही बन रहा है, and there are a lot of other tools and things which are also going to be made, okay, जिसके अंदर carbon emission होने ही वाला है. But it's first that it's an entire system which needs, you can't change the entire system overnight. One module at a time. People have to be brave. Clients also have to be brave enough and be like, okay, they need to also brag about it and also believe in it. when you make something
The
nice.
similar vision, you
Right.
have to find those people who have similar vision like
Yes.
you to make that sustainable model work, or the parametric model work, or the
Correct.
3D printing model work. I mean that's a very difficult, but you have to be hell passionate about it yourself.
I have to be hell passionate, and also I need, matlab, with all the passion and love, I explain that to the client that itna hai, but at the end of the day, the passion will be seeing figures,
Figures.
and that figures have to be in the background. उसको थोड़ा सा कम करना पड़ेगा.
Okay.
As I said that it has to be economical for everyone. That is only going to come when manufacturing unit का cost कम होगा, सारी चीज़ों का होगा. When you come down, it's there for a very long time, and now everybody, it's like a common thing, and everybody can use it. Everybody has access towards it.
Yeah,
Then I think that
versus supply.
once that awareness is there,
Hmm.
तब जाके I think the client will also be like, अच्छा ये जल्दी बना, and it's also a cost saving factor.
Yes, it is.
Because time बचता है. तो
Hmm.
उस चीज़ों के हिसाब से if you start working, then definitely, and also teach that skill set to the Indian labor as well, so that we are not losing out on them. We need the labor because, I mean, as a country, an architect is giving an architect or in the construction company, we are giving work to everyone. To the contractor gives the work to the laborer, contractor goes and gives work to the vendors they go and give the material के लिए, the material is being cut, there are two people who are cutting the material and getting it, transportation industry, so it's an entire circle. So not only one project feeds 100 mouths.
Correct.
So this is what we also have to see hand in hand.
So that's again one point, that international colleges, when we spoke of abroad colleges, international colleges have these courses on skill development, just like carpentry.
Right.
But here, if I want to learn carpentry, I'll be probably looked upon. Like, why would
Yes.
you learn carpentry? They make their houses on their own.
Yeah.
They cut this.
DIY.
They, DIY. I mean, that's a great trend there.
Yeah.
But here I'll be looked upon कि like बेचारे का हालत ऐसा है, खुद घर बनाना पड़ रहा है. So again, you're like, it does
Yeah.
feed 100 mouths. But then being a designer, like today, how difficult is it for me to actually be on site and work? Like, is it that it's looked upon? Why is it looked upon?
It's an entire hierarchy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And people who are doing this kind of work, they are basically, I mean, abroad obviously DIY because the labor is expensive.
Correct.
Here the labor is cheap.
First point.
So
yeah.
first point is there only, that labor is cheap. Labor cheap hai, to matlab the people who are doing it, they are looked upon that he's doing it, why should I fall down to that? No, it's not that. I mean, he's doing it because he's good at it. You're not good at it. So you better learn to be as good as the carpenter who's making it, or then hire him. And if you're hiring him, you pay him the cost.
Correct.
So this is an equation that we need to just understand that, okay, fine, there will be people all the way. I mean, and to be very honest, we need the labor. We need to get it done, because then it just takes off the entire thing that I don't have to make everything. I have an entire range of people. These guys who are coming on migrating from different states to our state, or they are going to different states. They are basically all there to make money. So why not, the only aspect which should not be, which should be taken off like a leech from the entire project is looking down upon them.
Correct.
That's the only thing I think. Everything, let everybody should get paid. That's all.
I mean, we are also here for the same pay.
Yeah.
That's the reason we are spending 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. And now I think a lot of courses, interior design courses, have also come up to 4 years.
Right.
So it's as good as, becoming an architect. I mean, 5 years you're spending, 4 years you're spending loads of money.
Right.
And okay, as you said, while you are in the field, it takes a while to, get on the money
Right.
aspect. So do you want to comment on that, or do you have your experience to share with us?
My experience is that I've seen these instances everywhere, and personally in my family as well, that I have a twin sister.
Okay.
So as she passed out, I was still in college. I was still studying. She was making money, and I'm still I'm trying to get an internship and all of those aspects. So there is always a constant thing that you will be looking. And not that I'm not looking at those aspects, but once a student is there in architecture, it's a 5-year course or a 4-year course that they're completing.
Mm-hmm.
When they're completing that, they look around because all the other courses are 3 years
Yes.
and they get done. The bachelor's degree, it gets done. So the additional 2 years, people have already finished their internships and they've gone on to. But here we are just about to enter into the industry.
Correct.
What we need to give them is, so to say, you know, assurance, and the pay scale has to definitely rise up.
Pay scale has to definitely rise up.
It only happens when the client starts paying.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make it a ground rule that, this is at any given time, if you have a project and you've been approached by a client or you approach the client, it's a set rule that you need to have this much pay.
Correct.
That's it. Nobody should
That's
take
how
advantage
the
of
design
us.
community will also grow together.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, that's how. So again, everybody will have to follow their ethics. So now, so there's always going to be a designer who's going to design for lesser.
Yes.
But then again, we'll have to
So-
raise the bar somewhere.
I know of a lot of such groups which are there, and
Okay.
now at this point of time, a lot of designers are coming along. They're collaborating each other, not in terms of work, but in terms of reviewing that your work is running smoothly or no. So I know a group of architects and interior designers
Okay.
who've been a part of this. It's basically they've been a part of this association and they've been personally helping each other. So if I am an
Okay.
architect and you're also an architect and you're working somewhere, you're working on a project and you're stuck, whom should I go? It's my personal project. Whom can I go and talk to? If the client is taking advantage of the fact that there are some loopholes, or probably the contractor and I'm stuck between both, or there is a problem between the contractor and the client and I'm stuck between both mediating.
Okay.
The third person, as we said, that the external juror, there are designers who are helping you out.
Okay, so there are
So,
such people who are going to.
There
you're
are
not
such
on your own.
collaborations and there are such circles which are made. So one of the circles which I was a part of also, designer circle, a very helpful group, and they've been constantly helping each other, not in terms of vendors, but not in terms of only projects and clients, but in terms of vendors. You're looking for a certain product or a material, but you're not able to find it. You have a
Okay.
stipulated timeline. Just post it on the group, and So I insist that from the college level also, convert your WhatsApp groups from class groups into these circles
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
where we can communicate. You share your projects, and that way you realize obviously the standard of work also which is happening, but also that this person has helped. He's done something over there, so probably I can approach him and ask him. Or if somebody's put a query over there that this is the material I'm searching for, this is the person I'm searching for, do you all know about him or her or this company? Straight away you get an answer. You're saving up time.
So even college associations, college alumni groups.
Correct.
So I think you should always have roots back in college.
Correct.
You should be in contact with a lot of people there.
Not only
But I
college,
think
but
industry connect, that's how it works. You have to
Right.
keep networking,
Right.
constantly talking to these people, and even visiting these exhibitions. I mean, a lot of students, sometimes I've seen students willingly will not go,
Right.
but we'll have to tell them, there's a
Force
site
them.
visit, force
Yeah.
them that please go to such
Yeah.
events. There are these exhibitions which are happening. Please go to these, talk
Right.
to these people, ask. I mean, so that curiosity factor again. I mean, how can a faculty, imbibe that kind of curiosity into students? Like this passion, what I have, how do I share it with the student?
I think one of the approaches could be that people who are making these sets during the exhibitions,
Okay.
just give hands down to the students as well. They love it.
Okay, being actually on site. Okay.
Being actually on site and doing the groundwork.
Mhm.
So from that level only, you're basically getting their curiosity levels high. उनके दिमाग में आप वो interest level डाल रहे हो कि यार, I'm cutting it, and they're obviously in supervision of certain skilled carpenters who are there. It's going to save up on the cost of the project also of making it, and plus after the entire make, these guys have something on their portfolio as well, and plus you've given them that interest level that this is also something you can do.
Portfolio development, this is all we have to sell, right? I mean, when we go
Yeah.
for internships also, we go for jobs.
Yeah.
We don't have our resume is definitely one part, but resume se badkar we have this entire portfolio. We have to show our academic work, our recent works. That's how we get our jobs, right? So all
Correct.
these things, I think again circling back to the point we spoke
Mhm.
about prior,
Yeah.
that show them that ये जो भी photo है ये detail इसमें से ही देख लो, take them to you on site, go for a client meeting, take them along. So I think all these faculties should start engaging them, pushing them towards the field.
Devanshi,
think
I'll have to
that's-
tell you that there are already people who are doing this in
Okay.
a lot of colleges. I mean, the colleges I've been part of.
Okay.
If I have to take names, Pearl Academy, Aditya College, Zvi College, all of these colleges have already been a part of their student programs, where when the student is finally moving to the fourth year or the
But
final
again, it
years.
happens when he moves to the internship,
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
So
But the
that's
seed has already been sowed
Okay.
from the second or third year, when the person is told that you have to work towards your portfolio. Final year में क्या दिखाओगे?
okay.
इतना भी
Get
बोल
that.
दिया था, that person will be like, okay, the student will be like, अच्छा ये सर मेरा पोर्टफोलियो में अच्छा लगेगा, हाँ ये ऐसा काम लेके जाएगा पोर्टफोलियो में.
ऐसा कोई कोर्स है पोर्टफोलियो डेवलपमेंट का, और you find
No,
it
it's a
online?
subject. It's a subject
It's a
that
subject that I'm not aware of, that there's a subject
Yeah. In certain colleges, this subject as a portfolio development is there, where the
Okay.
faculty is constantly looking at the portfolio itself.
there. So the student I think should ask that
Yeah.
मैम ऐसा कोई कोर्स है, ऐसा कोई सब्जेक्ट है जहाँ पे हम पोर्टफोलियो डेवलप कर सकते हैं.
Yeah, that's
Because
a valid.
ultimately तुमको, because see, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
through these while we are talking, I'm not aware of that. Imagine students are not even aware कि portfolio बनाना है कि नहीं बनाना है. Like by the time we tell them, it's like too late. They've already missed out on so many opportunities that they might have jumped upon. So students are not aware actually about this portfolio, the relevance of a portfolio at the end of the day.
See, there are in that manner, then you can have an incubation cell.
Okay.
That where in the very first year when the student enters, he's been told that there will be an incubation cell which will help you get a job. Because honestly, architects and interior designers, when they pass out, they are searching for jobs. There's a constant struggle now.
Yeah, because there is no on-campus placement. We don't
Right.
have, big companies coming to our campus,
Right.
taking interviews, giving us. I wish that was there,
Yeah.
but it doesn't.
Like
work
how
that way.
other MBA programs or engineering colleges work, that
Yeah, it doesn't
we see
work.
that at
Okay,
least
nowadays
that
a few colleges have started, but again those drives are like, okay, your alumni is coming and trying to place you somewhere.
right.
Like I don't think big companies will never come. I mean, shouldn't
They-
name them, but I'm not sure. I'm
I
sure
think
they are
that
never going to
a
come.
lot of international companies, if we invite them and if we show them that this is the skill set that we have and it's equivalent to your the students from your colleges or your courses are providing, then I think we can get those companies here as well. But the incubation cells have been planted already. There are smaller or later, I mean, if there is a batch but of 30 to 40 students, then they are provided certain services that okay, fine, you can go and try and apply over there. A call is made that 5 students from my college are going to come and give you an interview. Just check them out and do let us know. After they are hired, a review is being taken that 6 months however the students performed. If they're good, then you have a relationship with the people also over there, that this college is providing good amount of students and their work is really nice. So that ownership the college has to start taking.
Yeah, which a very few people are taking. I mean, but again, I believe again the students should be made aware of that thing. Like like supposing I'm being very straightforward here. If I just Google what is the annual pay range of an architect or an annual pay range of an interior designer, Google shows various figures.
Yeah.
I mean, we are paid like this much per
Yeah.
annum, this package, that
And it's all
package.
fantasy.
It's all fantasy. It's not, and that he comes to know when it's too late.
Yeah.
So if he wants to become, say, an independent practitioner, if he wants to work, if he wants to have his own entrepreneurship practice, how does that, this incubation, what you're saying, this incubation center, वो students को question पूछना चाहिए while they are taking an admission in the college.
Right.
कि do you have this?
Now they are asking.
I hope they are.
That
I
kind of
hope they are.
confidence when back then I was there probably wasn't there to ask such questions.
I didn't even know that.
All I wanted
there was
is that get an admission and start working, and after 5 years I'm going to become an architect or an interior designer. ये मेरा goal है. But now students are asking those questions. That sir, when we pass out, how do we start? What is the project cost? And I've been answering these questions all this while also. That when I am putting could be a first year project of a smaller residential plan which they have to do, or probably in the final year they're doing a restaurant or probably a bigger on a bigger scale, some office project or something like that. They're asking, sir, what is the design fee that we should be charging?
Correct.
What is the construction cost of this? What is turnkey project? So
So
all of
these,
these.
I'm telling you, these questions again, going back to the subject, professional practice, वो तो curriculum में है ही नहीं. किस हम we've never been told कि तुम्हें percentage wise charge करना है. ये तो है ही नहीं, पूरे बुक में नहीं है वो.
नहीं है. But it's like the 3-idiot, what is machine? And
yeah, maybe it's written in
and
that language.
it's written in that
I mean,
language that you
it's
just
nowhere. Okay, it's written
go
that okay,
past it,
installment
yeah.
में आपको design fees लेना है, But again, we still have cases in which पूरा design खत्म होने के बाद designers like मेरे को तो pay ही नहीं किया. And we've heard this from a lot of designers कि हमको pay नहीं किया. But it's written in the book. You should have studied that.
Yeah,
but again, practical अलग है, book तो theory तो अलग ही है.
See, the practice is there that there are certain percentage charge वो भी एक read between the lines हो जाता है.
Yes.
That I have to like basically see that अरे हाँ इसमें ऐसा लिखा था. But in the practical approach straight away you know that this much you have to charge. It's just that it has to be a permanent law which has to be passed that this is what a basic plan or these things you have to pay. आप इसका कंसल्टेंसी ले रहे हो, आप डॉक्टर के सर्विस पे जाके ये तो नहीं बोलते हो कि अरे मैं ठीक नहीं हुआ तो मैं तेरे को पैसा क्यों दूँ. आप वो तो नहीं करते हो ना. आप जाके डॉक्टर के पास जाते हो, उसको अपनी बीमारी बताते हो, वो आपको प्रिस्क्रिप्शन देता है और या तो फिर दवा पानी करता है, एंड यू बेसिकली कम बैक saying that this is going to make me feel better. Now if that has worked or no, that again you have to go to the doctor and ask, or you can go to a different doctor. But you paid the doctor and you've not got that for free. Similarly for us also, we are also doing a certain
service. We also made a
service.
space for you.
So
Correct.
we are a service based industry. Let's agree that our product is basically the intellect what we have. हमारे पास खाली वही है. The intellect what we have and our design knowledge. You are hiring us to basically impart that knowledge to you, okay, and to help you out to get a better service. So if you're doing that, then we should be, I'm not saying that an exorbitant amount should be paid, but in all design ethics or एक basic human ethics भी बोल सकते हो आप कि इतना आपका बनता है, that this you should have. Okay, then later on if you like the design or you don't like the design, that person has made an effort to show you something. So I think that should be a human factor that should be like done everywhere.
I mean, it should be a part of these circles or these communities, design communities में कि हाँ हम इतना तो charge करेंगे ही. I think that'll change over time. Again, as you said, everything will take time.
But everybody has to be honest to each other.
But everybody has to be honest to each other.
And
but we are busy bragging and we are busy like हाँ हम तो ये करते वो करते वो design ego.
There could be a possibility that you're saying 10 people in a group were sitting and they're like no, we'll basically charge 12%. Sorry, this is done.
Correct.
And then one person goes and charges 10% separately. जब वो हो गया तो then the entire rule only changes. So it has to be a law. If somebody charges lesser than that, then in the in front of other people he can say that in a mediator that you've charged lesser. That's not cool. So then there is a fee that person has to pay.
Correct. When I've seen your work and I've seen you teach also, you have this close connection to the Indian traditions, cultures, ethnicity. So do you want to share your insight on it?
Yeah, I mean, we as designers, I basically love, I've been brought up from a very middle class family, and we've been seeing a lot of, there are a lot of women in my family, and I've seen them being very much in touch with fabrics, colors, and all of these aspects. So yes, I've been a part of that. What I feel is, as designers, what is the speciality of an Indian designer? It's not only about the motifs and everything, but there are range of craftsmen and artisans who are there. So when we take a student for a tour also, we are showing them not only the structure but we are also showing them colors, paintings, we are showing them the fabrics which are used. So we as if you talk about Mumbai, we have like retail markets and wholesale markets of these fabrics everywhere, and if you go you'll find out from fabric to pots to everything which is there made in the cottage industries, we can get it. When we have such valuable things right over here, we don't even have to like create them. It's just there available in the market, and we should be supporting these cottage industries. We should be supporting these local craftsmen, because this is a dying art. So many of them are going, and because nobody is there to buy it. Do not bargain with them. Give them what they deserve. Okay, that's the most important thing. Because if that art is gone, then what will be left to bargain?
Correct.
So it's very important that we start supporting them. We start taking them into our work also. And you can utilize it anywhere. And when you start taking them into your work as well, there is a certain freshness in design which comes. And that's when people from outside could realize, and you're like, this is the ethnicity of a designer who's using. It's actually not our ethnicity. It's basically a combination of the design which I've created, and also the support and the work the artisans have given me.
So you could still design something like a modern contemporary. Like nowadays,
Yeah.
we do have these trends. Everybody wants homes which look classy, modern and okay, ethnic. But again, some homes are like extremely ethnic. So
Yeah.
not something like that,
Yeah.
touching down on that. But there are a lot of designers who are practicing that, but not at that scale. But then how so you would expect a modern home to also have some Indian craftsmen models, or what do you suggest? How does
It's
this
already
work?
there. The local craftsmen, if you say that, the labor is Rajasthani labor,
Correct.
they make the best furniture, and, they are very good at civil also.
Hmm.
At the same time, the UP labor and UP and the Bihar labor has really good strength in terms of creating, beds, wardrobes, and all of these structures which are there in interior design as well.
So
Motifs
we
which are
should
made.
use there. So you can
Yeah.
make a modern piece of furniture while
Yeah.
using the craftsmen of the Indian.
Right.
So it's not only related to art and sustainability, pots. Again, see, that's not everybody's design style.
Correct.
There are very few clients also who would appreciate that.
Correct.
So I think that's what you were talking about.
Yes, I'm not only talking about the sustainability
Yeah.
factor. It would be incorrect. I use sustainability when it's supposed to be used,
Okay.
and I'm also using commercial aspects as well. So, being honest to my trade, I am using everywhere. It's my curiosity level. When I see something, interesting, and I see an artisan making it, I feel there's a feel good factor to it, and that hands down work has been done to it. So when I take that product and show to the client, like, this is something where you can tell your people also that you've got it from this place, and it's incorporated in your furniture. I think that aspect is what makes me very curious, or I just straight away go for it. I'll be like, okay, ye lena hai, ye le lo, ye अच्छा बना रहे हो. And I'll call that person also at side and like, अच्छा तुम यहाँ पे इधर बनाओ. So at various places, we just need to
So you
realize.
keep connecting these Indian craftsmen to your fellow designers also. You must be doing that also. Or
Vice
you
versa.
yourself.
Vice versa. I mean, I know so many people who are connected to them. They show me that, you've gone over there. There's some nice rugs which are made. And, they tell me that, okay, fine. And if I know someone from the marble or some motifs which are being made, so I'm like, you should go and check it out over there. It could be any corner of the city. That person must be sitting and making it. All you have to do is keep your eyes open.
So I mean, being a student, you have to be curious. I mean, you have to understand. Okay, ask your mentors, definitely ask the people who are in the industry. But at the same time, do you think they should make like a dictionary, a record kind of a thing that इसके लिए इसके पास जाओ, या something like that? I mean, would you suggest something like that?
There are a lot of students who are doing it, and it's actually opinion based. They should be doing it. They're students at the end of the day. If you are writing down just the contacts or wherever you've seen something, then why not? It's like an entire yellow pages which you're creating for yourself.
Yeah.
So why
I
not?
think
You
that's a
should be
good
doing
idea.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I have done it. I've done it for the longest of time when I was a student.
Yeah.
कि कोई भी मुझे contact मिलता था, I used to just write it. कि भाई मुझे याद रहना चाहिए. I don't know where the book is now. I genuinely don't know where the book is now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I have written it down somewhere that इसके लिए शायद इसको contact करना चाहिए. So I think students are also again, some of the students, there are always exceptions. Like some people just want to get their degree, pass out, or who are already their parents already have offices.
Yeah.
And there are people and there are students who don't have that background. They are just new to the background in general.
Right.
So they are a little more curious than the other ones.
Or some are already have a background and they're very pretty bored with the kind of work which is happening, so they want to bring out a new flavor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that also works.
So,
कि कुछ नया करते हैं, इसमें ही
नया
कुछ नया करते हैं. Yeah, I think that also. So we have various kind of students. So talking about students again, what advice would you give them in general? that, when it comes to when you were a student,
Mm-hmm.
any mistakes that you've made or any good things that you've done, like I just said, I used to make this, I used to keep this journal. So journaling, the trend has started now. I used to definitely journal when I was in my college days.
Right.
So anything that you want to share?
Uh, yeah, only one thing that, any good thing. I've done a lot of good things as a student, but I've also been very notorious. Uh, Firstly, enjoy what you're doing.
Okay.
Enjoy whatever you're doing. It could be something small. Do not have that fear factor that, what the opposite person is going to think. First, make it, put it, and show it. अच्छा लगेगा किसी को, नहीं अच्छा लगेगा, तुम ऐसे ही कोर्स में हो जो ओपिनियन बेस्ड है. It's okay, it's fine. Learn the correct things from the correct people. Okay. That's something. And wherever you're going, in terms of visiting people or cultures or states or wherever your IV trips go, just have an open mind and absorb all of that, because you never know what when you're eating, you're feeding yourself. But when you're looking at all of these different cultures, designs, you're feeding your design soul. So all you need to do is that one fine day you're sitting and the ideas are going to strike, and they are just going to come out, and you'll be like, okay, fine, I have something in my mind, I can show it to you. So as students, be curious, ask questions, and most importantly, I mean, it's okay, you can take it a little easy also, because design will not you won't be able to design in stress, but when you are happy and you're also curious, it's going to give you a good tie towards design and creativity as well. So yeah, that's my
I think
take.
that's a very good concluding statement that you've done. So thank you so much for coming on this podcast. And I really like this one line which I would repeat: "Feed your design soul." I think this could be like a nice tagline for the podcast itself. Like, I mean, yeah, you should be curious, feed this design soul, and keep grasping information. बोलते ना, जहाँ से भी ज्ञान मिले ले लो.
Batoro.
जहाँ से भी ज्ञान मिले बटोरो. I
Batole
think that's a
necessary.
very good. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devanshi, for having me over, and it was really a lovely experience. And most
Yes.
importantly, I mean, the kind of questions also that both of us have encountered and you've given me,
Yes.
it has left me with a lot of thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.